Hey everyone, this might be a little too close. I look like an angel. I can't turn the light down though. I don't know. Maybe if I sit down a little bit. I am saying hello, and this is real life. I have my daughter's closet in the background. I just realized so I got home from Spain last night, and my son is sick, so I had to go pick him up from his dad's this morning, and we're having snow, and it's really cold. I'm not feeling the best right now either, and so it's been a little chaotic. Like it's like real life, just like you slide right in. My daughter's volleyball got canceled today, so she's coming home after school, and I have to figure out dinner and all that fun stuff. It's all mommyhood, right? It's just like, wow, it's never ending, doesn't stop. And it's like I'm having a challenging time shifting from this space of getting to think about myself and this amazing trip in Spain, and then all of a sudden, just like slamming into real life of like, do this, do that. I need to take care of my son. I need to figure everything out. So I am hopping on here real life way and talk about failure, because I think that failure is such a huge, important topic, and we have a tendency in our culture to think of failure as an end in and of itself. And I see in my business and many businesses that we have a fear of failure. Like people really, really are afraid to do something because they're afraid to fail. And oftentimes they don't even get that far. Like they have a reason or an excuse why they shouldn't do something, why they shouldn't step into a greater version of themselves, why they shouldn't elevate their lives. There could always be a reason or excuse not to do that. And then it can stop there, or you can start asking yourself some questions about like, wow, that's so cool that person's doing that. Why am I not doing that? Why am I not elevating my life? Why am I not doing something better for myself? Why am I not, what am I here to do in this world? Like there's so many questions you can ask yourself. Is this as good as it gets? And are you okay with that? Are you okay with this as good as it gets? Are you okay with like the choices that you made in your life? And if you are and happy, I think that's so amazing and so great. But I think so many of us are afraid to even ask those questions because we're afraid of recognizing that, oh my God, I haven't taken this step. I'm not challenging myself. I'm not managing the discomfort. I'm not able to feel the discomfort to take things to the next level. And I'm afraid to fail. Like that is such a key concept that we are afraid to fail because our society judges that, people put labels on it, all these things that happen. And so failure tends to be sort of the end game, like we look at failure and then you sort of like put your tail between your legs and you run away, right? Rather than saying, I'm okay if I fail. Oh, it's funny in parenting, one of the sayings that we have that we don't say this on day one, but we do say like, you're not going to get it right. You're just not going to get it right. You're going to screw up royally over and over and over and over again. It's just the way it is. We can look at failure that way too. Like we're just going to fail. It's just part of life. And we get to take the lessons from that failure and grow. And that's the key point of not looking at it as an end in and of itself, but looking at it as, it's just failure. But just, that didn't work out. That was a bad decision. Oh, that sucked. That just didn't work. And then, okay, here's what I've learned. And I'm not going to do that again. I'm going to do something, this is what I've learned. So I'm actually going to take this to a next level. And, that's an amazing process to have in our lives, because if we can look at failure as part of the process, and actually, I think if we actually look ahead and say, oh, failure is part of life, failure is part of my business, failure is part of my parenting, failure is part of my business and my work, and it's part of my lifestyle. I fail at eating habits sometimes. I fail at exercise sometimes. I fail at taking care of my body sometimes. If we just look at it, this is part of the process. We actually minimize the damage from failure because we're not so afraid to own it and to take radical responsibility for our failure that we don't even call it failure anymore, really. It's just like making mistakes. If we can take radical responsibility for it, we see it so much more quickly, and then we minimize the damage that happens from failure. And when we don't do that, we're so afraid we can be in denial. We can just not be able to have the awareness to be able to see what's coming and what's happening, that the failure actually gets worse. Oh, I love that, Janet. First attempt in learning. That's so great. I've actually never heard that. That's so true. So yes, it's funny because I love that, the first attempt in learning, because failure tends to be thought of as like final, and it's the end game. And now that I've sort of like incorporated failure into my life in every aspect, I don't think of it as failure anymore, right? It's just like, that's a mistake. That wasn't a good decision. I'm going to get it wrong, and that's okay. At least I'm trying. At least my skin's in the game. I'm doing this. I'm making things happen. Like, I really don't use failure in my vocabulary anymore. And so because the concept is such finality to it. And I think that's important for us to figure out what works for us in terms of language within our own minds and how we think of it. Because I love first attempt in learning, because failure, we tend to think of that as something big, like a big, huge loss, a big, huge bad decision. And those things can happen. And so, but again, the learning happens. So thank you for that, Janet. I love it. And so that's what I wanted to share with you today. Just failure. Go ahead and fail. Go ahead and learn. Go ahead and learn from your mistakes. It's such a great mindset to carry and to have in all areas of our lives. Because we're human beings, right? We're spiritual beings having a human experience, however you want to look at that. We're just trying to figure it out, and we're all just trying to figure out, and most of us don't have the answers. And we learn from experience, and we learn from each other, and we learn in many different ways, and we learn from our mistakes, we learn from our successes. We're just out there doing it, and I'm the same way. I'm just out there trying to figure it out. Like, I don't know what I'm doing half the time. I really don't. And, and I'm a parenting consultant, and I'm an entrepreneur. And I've had a ton of experiences for sure. I don't think I'll ever figure it out. Like, the world changes so fast. Life changes so fast. And I'm just trying to do my best. And that's what we're all trying to do. So it's okay to fail. It's okay to make those mistakes. So that's what I wanted to share with you, is that I know some of you have shared with me that things have gotten hard. There's been bad decisions made, and that's okay. Just keep going. Keep going forward. That's all that matters. Keep going forward in some form or fashion. Just keep going forward, and stare fear in the face, and stare failure in the face, and it's okay. It's okay if that happens. Like, we're all in the same boat. Really, we really are. Some of us hide those things. Some of us share them. And I think women, when we can connect, we're really good at sharing the mistakes that we've made when we can connect, which is really an amazing experience. So thank you, everyone, for being here. There's so much to say about this, and there's so many different avenues you can take around this idea around failure, right? So just thanks for coming, and I appreciate you, and I hope you have a beautiful, amazing day. Bye.